Radio Scotland.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
That was David Bowie with Sound and Vision. You're listening to Ashley Storrie on BBC Radio Scotland, live from Pacific Way, joined as always by sidekick Silent Paul. And tonight we are talking telly. We want to know your favourite TV shows, the TV show you couldn't finish. You started, but you were like, nope. You were doing the opposite of Roy Walker. You'd started, but you weren't going to finish. And thirdly, that was a deep cut. No, it wasn't. No,
You didn't
never.
do that
Yes, I know.
catchphrase?
I didn't. I realised that. Say what you see was the
mastermind.
catchphrase. I literally got the catchphrase of the catchphrase fan mixed up with a different catchphrase.
I'm sure. CBC and close, but it's not right.
Oh, what am I saying? Yeah, the shows you couldn't finish and also the shows you would bring back if you could. John Nugent in Wick says, best TV in order, MASH, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Okay, I'm with you. Loved MASH. Have watched it maybe twice.
Can we talk about... Let's finish this list and then we'll talk about...
MASH, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Spike Milligan's Q series, and Star Trek The Next Generation. Right, what are you going to say?
MASH, right? That's one of the rare programmes that started out as a film.
Yes.
And then...
became a TV show.
Was as, if not more successful as a television
MASH,
show.
Stargate.
Yeah, Stargate's definitely one.
I can't think of another one that starts as
I
a
was
film.
telling you because I was reading up on, basically there was a television show series version of 9 to 5, the Dolly Parton film, where instead of it being Dolly Parton's character, they didn't even just recast the character, they just said it was Dolly Parton's character's sister. Of course, it only lasted for one season. It got cancelled very quickly, but are there any other examples out there of a television series that was as, if not more, successful or better than the film version? Do you remember Alien Nation?
Sugar Puff Heads.
Yeah, that had James Caan in the film.
It was the TV show was made by Gene Roddenberry's son.
Was it?
Yes.
There you go. But that's that. The movie, it was James Caan, and then the TV show was the guy with long hair. I can't remember. He's in loads of TV shows.
Fabio.
No, it was a wee bit like a Fabio.
Okay.
We'll look it up.
Right. Stargate's the only one I can think of. And I'm properly racking my brain here because
Did you like Stargate the movie?
Loved Stargate the movie. Loved it because I have been in love with that big guy from Pretty in Pink and Boston Legal, James Spader.
Spader, right. So of the characters, then obviously James Spader's a better version of that. Is it Nick Jackson?
I have no clue who
Character?
the name of the actors are. I've watched Stargate Atlantis.
No, but the character was not Nick Jackson. Who cares? And then, but is Kurt Russell better or worse?
The MacGyver.
The MacGyver.
MacGyver's better. MacGyver's better. 100% MacGyver is better. I will fight people on this. The TV programme of Stargate is better than the film of Stargate. The film of Stargate's great and I love it.
So obviously this is the other way around. What's better, the Stargate, Star Trek the series or Star Trek the films? Because I feel like a lot of the fandom, whilst there was a big fandom for the TV show, the films get quoted a lot.
I hate them. I don't want them. I like the TV shows. I don't like the films. I like, but then my like of Star Trek is not akin to everybody else. Everybody goes, "Oh, Next Generation." I'm like, feed me more Voyager, my friend. Let me watch the political intrigue of Deep Space Nine. How are the Bajoran people being treated right now under the cruel Cardassian race? That's the kind of thing I'm interested in. I'm not so much interested in save the world, fly to space. I'm more interested in let's get nitty gritty about the Ferengi exchange rate.
Fair enough.
That's my cup of tea.
Sounds like you would like Babylon 5.
I loved Babylon 5. Garibaldi, the guy with the hair that all stuck up round his head. I dressed up as him for Halloween when I was a little girl, like Napoleon, and he had the hair all round his head. Babylon 5 was brilliant. And
because that was very much that, was it not?
Political intrigue on a spaceship, 100%. The one that was the remake, Battlestar Galactica.
Didn't see any of it.
Loved it.
But I would like, I like the
until
original.
It broke my heart. That did a flip reverse at the end, and
broke your heart in a.
And it became bad.
Oh.
And it became. And I was just like, I'm so annoyed. I wish you'd just ended this sooner rather than making me sit through all this to like get to the end to be like, and it turned out everybody was a ghost. Like that level of stupidity. That's not how it ends, but that level of, and then it turned out it was all a dream. Like I hate being tricked by television. It feels like my best friend is betraying me. I think it's because I was raised by a TV. Anyway, back to messages. Ian from East Kilbride says, unexpectedly satisfying to hear everything reduced to a short phrase, whinge, cringe, glossy nonsense. Sexy casualty. Although I remember the Lord of the Rings guy eating tomatoes. It might have been a tomato and I've misspecied it as a plum.
And you actually visited, you had the cheek to go to Weta workshops and you didn't even know if it was a plum or a tomato.
I went to Weta workshops and see the guy, his name was either Richard or Stephen who owned it. He let me hold his Oscars. Heavy. Big heavy
Are they
things.
actually, but they're not made of like...
No, that it was so heavy and then he pretended he was going to start juggling them and I panicked and was like, because they're so big and heavy.
They're not all just, they're not fully gold. They're just gold plated and they're not.
Aye, but I think there's like a weight inside it.
Like brass.
Yeah, something, or copper or something, I don't know.
Copper's quite expensive.
Is it?
Aye, and I'd get pawned off.
No, that's our very East End roots coming out there discussing.
Get good money for copper, that's what I get told.
Yes, same.
Anytime we'd throw a cooker out when we were doing the kitchen up, my dad would be raging because like people would come and try and take it and he'd be like, don't you touch that.
It's your copper.
It's good metal in it.
That's why copper pots and pans must be so expensive.
Yeah.
Because I desperately want a kitchen that looks like the kitchen in Ratatouille with all the copper pots and pans, but I look it up and it's so expensive.
But just do it.
Ooh, my brain just made a loop there. Goonies. Chester copper pot. Anyway. He's the guy who looked for One-Eyed Willie's treasure.
I know he is, yeah.
TV shows bring back 6 Feet Under. Were you a fan of 6 Feet Under?
No, never. I couldn't get into it. It wasn't for me.
House. No, we've talked
seen-
about it. House, you watch House back and you're like, you weren't witty or edgy. You were just a horrible, horrible man who bullied people.
Yeah.
You're a terrible human being.
Yeah.
You're not a good doctor. And this could have all been done a lot quicker if you hadn't been faffing about annoying everybody. Genuinely.
Yes. I mean, he did save lives sometimes, but then other times, like, you can see why people came in and shot him.
It's bad. No, House was bad. I loved that show, watched it back as a grown up and was like, nope, don't like it. Yellow Jackets, not seen it, want to see it. Dinosaurs, not dinosaur, but dinosaurs. Not the mama.
One of the saddest endings of a television show ever.
Like, MASH and Dinosaurs are up there with the saddest endings of TV shows. Also, it was really cool. It was really cool. It looked different.
At the time, it was like spectacular
Like,
levels of puppetry. and
Roseanne with
costumes.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Come on, it's like if you took the Flintstones but made everybody a dinosaur. It's so clever, it's so funny, loved it. And that's from Michelle from Hamilton, Glasgow. Michelle, thank you so much for getting in touch. Laura, the paramedic in Vermont's been in touch and says, I'm on duty tonight.
From where?
Vermont. I'm on duty
Wait,
tonight.
no, sorry, how did you say it the first time?
Vermont.
Vermont.
This is like when I'm trying to streamline words. My brain just wants to.
I'm vehemently sure
I'm Vermont.
that was incorrect.
I've heard it both ways. I'm on duty tonight, so I'll listen on catch up tomorrow. But I wanted to reach out and thank you for keeping me company last week when I had to drive to NYC for my uncle's funeral. You made me laugh and the tunes were great. Thank you again for all you do. Cracked me up when people leaving messages for Stuart and Tam. Have a great show. Thank you so much, my friend. And I hope that you're back in Vermont where you're having a safe time, even though you're on the truck doing your paramedicing. Hope nothing like ER or Grey's Anatomy happens to you. Stay away from icicles. Right. Paul, what is this?
Sometimes.
Is Tamsin Archer and it's Tasman Archer. I was getting that mixed up with the lady from Green Berets, Red Berets, Blue Berets. You know the blonde lady? Oh, my brain is so short-circuiting today. Just a copper pot.
When you're actually
Ratatouille.
and you're watching a television provider in the sky, and sometimes you just fall asleep in the television
Oh, I do all the time.
and it just goes on standby.
Do you know what my favourite show to sleep
What?
to is? The Waking Dead. With
The
big
Walking-
Trev. No, The Waking Dead.
Waking the Dead.
That with Trevor Eves. Love it. I'd sleep to that all the time. I wake up to him just shouting at people and I feel very safe.
Well, you can sleep to this because it's a sleep satellite.
I blame